When the words coming out of your mouth are true and you believe what you're saying, that's authenticity. Hey, thanks for tuning into my show. I'm the co-owner of Suprahuman, and we're all about helping you become your best self. We've helped thousands of people physically transform. If you want to take the mystery of how to achieve your best body, get a meal plan completely customized to your needs for free. Go to superhumandiet.com, that's SUPRA humandiet.com, and we'll deliver the plan directly to your inbox. Hey, it's story time. I'm going to give you a story. So I got on the scale this morning and I'm like, damn, that is the same number as last Monday. Am I even making any progress? And it's in that moment that we as women begin to sabotage ourselves because we have such a love-hate relationship with the scale. Am I right or what? Now, I want to give you some context here. You're like, wait, why are you upset about the scale number being the same as last week? Isn't that a good thing? You're not gaining weight. So I'm in what we call a cut, also known as dieting down, also known as a fat loss phase. I'm using all the terms. Diet's the one that triggers people the most because our relationship with that word has been tainted over time because we attach such emotion and meaning to it, just like we have with the scale. So I've actually been in a muscle building phase for the last 6 months. And so I'm really excited to reveal the muscle that I've been working so hard on and building underneath that fat layer. So I'm excited to see, and it's a 12-week process. And, every time I go through this process, what we call a fat loss phase, I learn something new about myself. So here we are, and I should know better, yet that feeling of, what the heck? I'm not making progress. Is this even working, coach? So I hit up my coach this morning at Superhuman because I do the program myself, right? I'm committed to it just like everybody else. And I said, this is what's going on. And he said, listen, this week, I just want you to do all your stuff as usual. But just focus on this one thing. I want you to focus on hitting 90 ounces of water a day. I just want you to drink your water. I want you to do all the other things you're supposed to be doing. But that right there, that's the metric I want you to pay attention to. And here's the thing. I'm actually going to pull up our app because it is so awesome. And so if you are watching on YouTube, you're not going to get a close-up glimpse of it. But I've got it on my phone. And there's a number of things that I need to check off daily as I'm going through this process. And by the way, whether you're in a fat loss phase, a muscle building phase, or just a maintenance phase of life, you should have a checklist. We're not used to having checklists when it comes to our health and our bodies. So I want to normalize that. So there's a number of things that I need to be hitting a day, right? It doesn't always go perfect, but our aim is to get onto a winning streak. And so I'll take photos, I'll hit the scale, I'll check off whether I completed a workout, whether I completed my macros and nailed the calories down correctly that I've been given in terms of proteins, fats, and carbs. And did I walk? Did I do my steps? Did I hit the step count number? Right now I'm on 12,000 a day, for example. Did I hit 12,000 a day? And am I drinking my water? But what is the one thing, even though I'm checking everything off, that I pay attention to this morning is the scale. I've checked everything off. Why is that thing not moving? Why is it the same as last Monday? And so my coach goes, listen, okay, whatever. That is what it is. I just want you to pay attention to drinking your water because I've noticed that you haven't been drinking your water. I'm like, got it. Maybe it has something to do with the water. But here's my point. By changing my focus to another measurement that counts as progress too, that changes the narrative and the story and the emotion and the attachment that I had with the scale number that I saw this morning. So sometimes we don't see progress because we are so fixated on the one measurement of progress that we forget to look at all the other things that we are currently doing that is adding to that progress over time. The scale is an indicator, and that's what I want to talk about. And it's not just about the scale. This is just the story that leads into the topic for today's episode. The scale is an indicator on whether the strategy that we are deploying to reach a certain goal is working. And that's it. I wish it were that easy, but that really is it. If we look at this logically and we say scale, what is the scale? Even when we're measuring our food, but when we're measuring our weight, the scale is just an indicator. It's just a measurement tool. And it's just there to tell us whether the strategy that we're deploying in terms of the strategy, you working out 3 to 4 days a week, you getting your step count, you're drinking your water, and here are the macros, and you're hitting all of that. Hey, the scale is just, is that strategy working for us? No need to be happy or sad or upset about it. We just want to have the answer. It's just a measurement tool. And when you look at it that way, you change your emotion around that one measurement. And here's the thing about measurements. They're not always accurate. Even the scale isn't always accurate. And let me explain. A spike on the scale doesn't mean you suddenly gained 2 pounds. It could mean that it's that time of the month. So there's these variables, right? It could mean that you're ovulating as a woman. No, I have a lot of female listeners. That's why I'm saying that. It could mean that you had an extra salty meal over the weekend. It could mean that you didn't poop. Literally, poop weighs, like I swear, a couple pounds right there. But yet we look at the number, we say, I gained weight. Not so fast. Sometimes we look at one day, the measurement of one day, and we say, that's it. That's it. I knew it wasn't working. Screw this. And that's the moment that we begin to what? Sabotage ourselves. And I caught myself because I'm headed on week 3. And that's the beauty about having conscious awareness. I think that the number one asset we can have as human beings is to have conscious awareness of our thinking patterns and behaviors, the ability and the skill to look outside of ourselves and at ourselves and say, am I doing that thing again? Am I doing that thing again? What am I doing? And begin to analyze patterns. And that's what I caught this morning. I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing that thing again with a scale. And I know it's relatable because so many women struggle with this. And I broke it down to, we are totally sabotaging our progress because of one moment and one day. And that sabotage cycle is never ending. Girl, you have got to endure. We do this with all types of goals. I'm just using that story as an example. We do that with all types of goals. We do that with all types of things and people. We do it with our relationships. We do it with our friendships. We do it with our marriage. We do it with our careers. We do it with our business. We just blow it all up and end up right back where we started. Like, how many times have you gone out to lose the 10, 15, 20 pounds just to find yourself back there again a year later and 2 years later? What happened? Sabotage cycle. Why? Did you blow it all up over one day, one moment, one measurement? So today's episode is all about what? Stamina. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to. Do you have stamina? Do you have staying power? Do you have faith in the unseen, in the stuff that has yet to arrive? And do you have a grand vision of yourself? Like your why, your purpose, your self-image. What does that individual look like? Who is that person? Because that's the only thing that's going to give you the stamina. But we are going to talk about stamina and what is going to help you build stamina and maintain that stamina. Because if you are stepping, for example, on the scale and you're on week 3 of a cut like I am, and you get on the scale and you see that number and you don't like it in that one moment, and it triggers you into a sabotage cycle, we are getting nowhere. You don't have stamina. You cannot endure. Where is the mental stamina? You say it's not working. You blame the program. You blame the people. You blame everything else, but your ability to stay in the game. And so if you look at stamina as the word, and what does it mean? It means endurance. That's why I said, girl, you have got to endure. We've got to endure to get the things that we want in life. Do you have the energy? Energy. I want you to hang on to that word energy. Do you have the fortitude? Do you have the grit, the resilience, and the staying power, like I mentioned? So stamina is the ability to sustain prolonged physical or mental effort. That's what it means to have stamina. The ability to sustain it for a prolonged amount of time. Do you know how many people come into our program and just quit on week 1, literally paying thousands of dollars for a custom coaching package? Ain't cheap, by the way. They don't even start. Like, what's going on here? It didn't work. I tried it. No stamina, no staying power, no endurance. What is that? Where's the grit? Where's the resilience? Some people fall off after the first 30 days. Why? Because of what society tells us, that success in anything that we attempt is supposed to happen at lightning speed, fast, now. Give it to me. Thanks a lot, Jeff Bezos, Amazon. I know. It's like, where is it, mommy? My own toddler is like, did you order the thing I did? Why isn't it here yet? 10 minutes later, and that's what a technologically advanced society has brought us. So many good things. There's so many positives. But when it comes to the fundamentals, there's no quick fix when it comes to building the body that you want, building wealth, building a lasting, loving marriage. There's not an app that's going to fix it all for you. There's not a quick delivery mechanism for things like that. We haven't gotten that advanced in our technology yet. Who knows? 5-10 years from now. No quick fixes here when it comes to stamina and having staying power. So how do we develop more stamina, resilience, grit, staying power, and endurance? I've got 5 tips for you. Number 1, you want to have a regular exercise routine. I'm talking about, how do you cultivate staying power? How do you stay in the game? So many people quit one before they even start. People don't even get started, but then they quit as soon as they start. And a lot of people come in and they don't even stay in the game. So you got to have a regular exercise routine. Number 2, you got to eat healthy, whole foods. Number 3, get enough sleep. Number 4, manage that stress. And number 5, have that morning and evening routine. And put it on repeat, 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 repeat. It sounds simple, right? But you may say, you don't understand, and about, I can't get in regular exercise. Insert your excuse, insert your reasoning. Ladies, a lot of you are building your life around your business, around your career, around your children, around your spouse. You're building it around the one thing. You're building it around this one thing over here. Instead, you should be building a life that supports the kind of lifestyle that will sustain you, maintain you. And you cannot have that sustained, prolonged physical or mental effort, that stamina that we're talking about, without those 5 things being in harmony. How do I know? Because I've burned out myself. Here's what you're thinking. If I just get my business to 1 million a year, 1 million a month, whatever your number is, if I just get my business to that number, you've got a magic number, then I'll dedicate more time to my sleep. Wrong. Physical fitness is good for mental fitness. That's why we launched our Daily Trainer app. For less than $1 a day, you get a personal trainer in your pocket. For a limited time, go to superhumanapp.com. That's SUPRA humanapp.com and use my code FREE at checkout to try your first week at no charge. Another thing you might be thinking about, once the kids are X age, again, whatever that number is, I'll start exercising. Wrong. If you want to have staying power as a mother, as a spouse, as a high achiever, as a businesswoman, you will need to build your life around healthy habits. Healthy habits. And we're not taught that in society. We are taught to build around what? We're taught to build around awards. We're taught to build around accolades. We're taught to build around Instagram posts. I don't know, right? We're taught to build around some vanity metrics, if you ask me. You can't allow your business to build your habits. Your business will throw you out of whack if you are allowing your business to drive your habits. Your business doesn't have feelings. So if you allow the business to control how you show up in your day-to-day life, that's going to become a problem for you long term. It will throw you out of whack. It will throw you out of balance, and it'll run you right into burnout. Stamina is the opposite of hustling. It's the opposite of burning out. It's the opposite of long hours at the office. Stamina is the tortoise in the race against the hare. The hare tires out. The hare loses because the hare is in such a hurry, right? So if you want to win this game of life, a lot of you are like, I want to win the game of business. The one thing, right? I want to win the game of motherhood and parenting. The one thing. I want to win the game of my body. There's also that. The one thing. Like you just obsessing about this one thing and building your life around that one thing versus building your life around healthy habits that'll sustain and maintain and give you the stamina to have whatever it is that you want in all those different areas. Why not have it all? Because you can have it all. But not if you're just focusing and building habits around this one thing or this one area, the number one thing you value. The number one thing that you should value is yourself and building a healthy, sustainable lifestyle around it, because that's what's going to give you the stamina to achieve all the things that you want to achieve and have all the things that you want to have in your life. See, if you want to win the game of life, that's what I'm about. I want to win the game of life. And what does that mean? Get yourself some stamina, girl, and stop hanging the hat on that one metric. The one metric for you could be the scale. The one metric could be the money in the bank account. The one metric could be what's in your closet in terms of clothes and fancy things. If those are your only metrics and your mood is dictated by what that one metric says, you're not going to have staying power. Because those metrics, they go up and down. Like the bank account, it's like like the stock market. Up and down if you're looking at that thing daily. You're going to need stamina if you want to become elite. And the thing about stamina is that it's a gradual process. It's a process that doesn't show you progress every single day. Sometimes it's not going to feel like you're progressing at all. Man, some days it's going to feel like you're regressing because you're too hyper-focused on that one metric. So you've got to ask yourself, how do I build a life that empowers me to have this regular exercise routine, eat the healthy whole foods, get enough sleep, manage the stress, have that morning and evening routine, map this out for yourself. What does it look like? What do your days and weeks look like? What decisions do you need to make to steer your life in that direction, if that's what you want? What you've got to do is you've got to avoid the temptation of pushing yourself too quickly. You'll know if you're pushing yourself too hard if all those things that I just mentioned, the 5 things, are completely out of whack. You don't have time for them. You don't do them at all. You'll say, I get to them at a later date. First, let me get this award. First, let me pass this exam. First, let me get this qualification under my belt. First, let me hit this salary range. Let me get that title. Let me hit that number in business first, and then I'll. No, doesn't work that way. In fact, you get all those things once you focus on this. The opposite is true. You've got the formula backwards. If you don't have the space to do those 5 things, you're going to need to reassess how you operate. You're going to need to reassess, what am I valuing over these things? What metric am I actually valuing the most? In our program, we teach people, men and women, the scale is just one metric. And over time, we see it trend down if the goal is fat loss, obviously. For some people, they come in for muscle building, or they'll go through a phase where they're muscle building. We say, hey, the scale's going to start trending up. But in your case, if your goal is fat loss, then yeah, we're going to trend down, but you're not going to see the trend in one day. You won't even be able to visualize the trend in 1 week. How are we actually able to visualize trends, even in business? Over time, week over week, comparison charts. You're just not giving it enough time. You're looking at one day, one metric, and you're blowing it to bits over an emotion. There's a host of metrics that we look at. So since I started off the podcast with the goal of, shredding after building, we'll just stick to that topic. There's a host of metrics that we look at Superhuman. We're like, okay, what's the scale say? Obvious one. What do your pictures look like week over week in comparison? The scale doesn't always tell the story, and you don't understand what a big difference even a 5-pound weight loss looks like. It's huge. It's massive on your body. You'd be shocked at what 5 pounds actually looks like, which is why we have people take pictures. Okay, how much water are you drinking? So water matters. It hydrates us. It keeps us alert, gives us energy, also helps us flush toxins out. Are you hitting your steps? Is it 8,000 a day that we've assigned to you, 10,000, 12,000, and we progressively increase those over time? Are you walking? Are you getting movement? For us, like, the cardio is not so important. It's how much movement are you getting throughout the day? Because what we're trying to do is help you build those healthy habits. Are you consistently working out with the weights? If you're a beginner, maybe it's with the body weight at first, and that's okay. But are you consistent in doing that? And here's another important part. What are you learning about yourself in this process? Who are you becoming in this process? You see, the physical transformation is what people come to us for, but what they end up with is a mental transformation. And it's not a 90-day turnaround over here. We teach people to commit. Let's be real. It's going to take you a year, at least. You think change happens in 1 week? It's like all these programs, 30 days to build a new habit. But is it 30 days to sustain a habit? The stamina. You can't build stamina in 30 days. Who are you kidding? Come on. So you do not build stamina in a 30-day program, ladies. And I want you to wrap your head around that, because that's not what I'm going to sell you. Ever, 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 ever. There's no juicing, no cleansing, no juice diet, no fast, no whatever you want to call it. That's going to get you to where you want to go in 30 days. So let's just snap out of that mentality. You're not going to get to where you want to go in life in 30 days. Are we kidding ourselves? That's a whole nother level of entitlement right there. And there's a whole nother level of entitlement when you step on the scale and you go, well, it's not working. That's it. I'm going to act like a little kid and get all pissed off and just blow it to bits. You cultivate stamina when you are committed to a process that is gradual, not overnight. Because overnight success will crash and burn you. We are so addicted as a society to these overnight success stories. I can't stand the overnight success stories because it makes it seem so easy. Like, we don't get to see what that individual did behind the scenes. The overnight only seems like it's overnight because you just saw the end result, but you didn't see the process. between then and now. So today, I want you not to be discouraged by what you think is a lack of progress. I want you to be encouraged to redirect your focus to the other metrics that matter too, sometimes more than the metric that you're paying attention to. That's what I want you to focus on, ladies. So I hope today was helpful. My number one goal for you is to understand that the things that you want to build in life, to become elite, takes stamina. It takes staying power. And staying power is going to require you to focus yourself on building and cultivating healthy habits in your life. Because I have burned out so many times. And as I look back, because I have that conscious awareness of myself, and I look back and I look at, man, what went wrong? I went too hard too fast. The hare trying to win the race. Win what? What exactly am I trying to win? I'm trying to win the game of life, to become my best self. And it's a never-ending process. You never arrive. And that's the realization. If you never arrive, or when you arrive, you build a new goal, then you got to have a lot of stamina for that kind of game. Am I right? This is not a 90-day goal. You can start with a 90-day goal, but what's the 1-year goal? What's the 5-year goal? What's the 90-year game plan for your life? Having that kind of game plan, having that kind of vision is going to require you to have stamina. And I want you to build that kind of resilience, that kind of grit, because that is what it's going to take. It's going to take endurance. So I don't want you to step on the scale and get pissed off at the number on Monday morning because you had a salty meal or you didn't poop the night before the morning of. You can't hang your hat on one metric, one emotion, one moment, and one day. How many of us are sabotaging ourselves because of one moment, one emotion, one day? Let it oscillate through you. And stick to the process and have some endurance. I want you to endure through that. As always, thanks so much for listening. Ladies and gentlemen, for the dudes that are listening to, thank you. If there is a topic that you want me to hit on, I would love to hear from you. I'm always the most active on my social media Instagram account at Nineveh Madsen. Hope to see you in my DMs or in the comments.